Every damn day. Hello, everyone. It's Jerry at the Fledge. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 40 of Every Damn Day. And today we've got our great friend Siham with us. And we are going to be talking about being a newcomer in the U.S., growing up partly on the South Side, and the new exciting foreign house project that you have going. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Of course. We are masked today to be safe, and COVID is a real thing. So we'll try to speak up as much as we can into the mic here. So let's start out. Tell us about you.
Okay, well, my name is Siham, and I am currently a junior at Michigan State University. I am double majoring in media information with concentration in films and pre-law through James Madison. I'm also double minoring, so I got a lot of things going on. But yeah, so I immigrated into the United States back in 2010. I was about 9 years old. We came from the refugee camps in Sudan. My family is a survivor of Darfur genocide. That's one of the reasons why we came here. We flee our country in order to protect our lives and find new opportunities.
Yeah. So can we talk about like being 9 years old and coming to the U.S. and coming to Lansing?
Mm-hmm.
What was that process like? Was it easy? Was it difficult? What was that experience?
So originally, when we came into the United States, we actually settled in Omaha, Nebraska. That's where they put us. And it's interesting because, in Africa, when people talk about America, they talk about it like it's just like this like heavenly place. So when we came in, we thought we were just resting because because the flight was too long. So my mom was like, after like a week, my mom was like, okay, so I'm ready to go to America now, because she didn't know we were already in America. And then they were like, we are already in America. So it was interesting. But no, just coming in, it was a lot to get used to because the people look different. And where I'm from, everyone were Muslim and pretty much everyone were Black, so coming in and then just seeing a lot of people who are just different. It was just, amazing because now you get to see people who are, like just different, and it was just this diversity. But when I came in, I did not know English at all. I couldn't speak English, so that was hard to get used to. But I love, challenging myself and learning new things. So it was a challenge that I was excited to take part of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And does that seem like a really long time ago? It was over half your life ago.
Yeah. It feels a long time ago, but it also does not feel like a long time ago. Only because if it was a long time ago, I could sit here and say, you know what, I survived the Darfur genocide, and there's so many people who survived the Darfur genocide, but it doesn't feel like a long time ago because the Darfur genocide, even though no longer mentioned in the news, it's something that continues to happen every single day. People are still dying, and my family was very fortunate to be able to come here, but there's a lot of people who were not, fortunate enough to come here. We have all of our family there. It's just me, my sisters, my brothers, and my mom that came. All of our other family members are there. So just seeing all the people over there suffering is just heartbreaking. And it just shows that, there's a lot that needs to be done for us to say, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. So the camps are still there? They're still populated?
Mm-hmm. Yep, the camps are still populated. In the camps that, I grew up in, so my family and I actually created a nonprofit organization called Negro Foundation. And my mother, through our nonprofit organization, goes there every 6 months to be able to distribute products and just humanitarian aid. And we do what we can to assist the people who are still struggling, because we know what it's like to struggle because we came from there. So we want to be able to help them and alleviate their struggles a little bit. Um, so yeah, we're just doing whatever we can.
You've talked to me twice about your mother,
Hmm.
and she sounds like just the most amazing woman. But part because she's raised such an amazing daughter. Um, do what? What's one thing? There's a lot of heartache here. There's a
Hmm.
lot of pain. There's a lot of suffering, and there's a lot of injustice
Hmm.
that has happened. What's one thing that you've kind of taken away that you think is ingrained in you, that kind of drives your passion, that from before you came to the U.S., when you were still in the refugee camp?
Hmm. So when I was, living in the refugee camps, I think it. I do remember, some days clear to this day where I just didn't know what the future was like, what was the future was going to be like, because I didn't know anything other than the refugee camps. Prior to living in the refugee camps, we lived in like a village, and then prior to living to that village, we lived in another village where it was burned down completely. So like we literally watched our homes burned down to the ground, and then we had to flee, just running. We had to walk for days in order to get to this other village. So going to the refugee camps, I thought that was my new normal, because I didn't know anything, other than all the struggles that we went through. So going into the village, and then eventually coming here, I just learned that one of the quotes that I go by now is life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. Everyone has a story, everyone goes through a struggle, but you can't let your struggles and everything that you go through really define you, but rather using that as a motivation to turn your life around. So because of that, I one of the reasons why I'm going to law school is because I want to be a president of Sudan someday, in order to you know take back the power and really give it to the people, and just put this all this political unrest to rest, and unite the community, and give people their land back. So everything that I've gone through, it has been a motivation for me to um, do what I can to assist people, and really just I found my purpose in everything that I went through.
Yeah. Did you? So first of all, I'm very honored to have the future president of Sudan on the show today. I believe in you.
Thank
I
you.
mean, you have. What did you have dreams when you were in the camp about what you said? You kind of thought this was your new normal.
Yeah.
What did you want to be? What did you want to do?
See, the thing about it is, when I was in the camp, I didn't dream because I didn't know what it was like to dream. I didn't know what life outside of the camps entailed. So I didn't know, and I didn't see any dreamers, anybody else doing amazing things and just going out there. So because I was not exposed to dreamers and I didn't know what life outside of those camps entailed, I didn't know how to dream. So I didn't dream. It was only until I came to the United States that I was able to dream and say, wow, there's so many possibilities, and that I could, become whoever I want to be. But living in the camps, my mom was married at the age of 13, and had me at the age of 15. And I thought that was going to be it. The only thing I could hope for was to be able to get married to a good man, and be a good housewife. But other than that, I didn't know anything else.
Yeah. That I'm all about dreams and the
Hmm.
American dream. That sometimes I look at it and I think, like what you said, where's America at?
Hmm.
It's this other thing. Maybe you're thinking New York City, and you're thinking
Hmm.
the hustle and the bustle and everybody, I don't know, golden paved streets or
Yeah.
whatever. But the American dream isn't always here.
Hmm.
And so you came to Lansing, and growing up on the South Side, maybe you've seen some of that, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So now that you're here, tell us your dream. Tell us about Foreign House.
Yeah, foreign house. Wow. So I think many, people oftentimes ask me, well, like, how did you come up with the idea? And it's just, different events leading up to different things. Eventually, prompted me to start Foreign House. But I think I started Foreign House because I oftentimes felt like, I wasn't worthy or I wasn't good enough. Um, and I know that, that a lot of people feel like that, like, they're just not, good enough, or they're not worthy enough, or, they just, don't have value. And I remember during in August, back in August, I actually did a pageant for the first time in my life. It was interesting because I never really watching pageants. I never really felt like that was a space for me, because when you think about pageants, you get that very typical look of what a pageant girl should look like, and I just didn't fit into any of those categories. And then when I went, I remember, during the orientation, I was sitting in front of, I was sitting with all the contestants who were, competing for the same title. And I was just sitting there. I was like, Siham, what are you doing here? You don't belong in here. I mean, everyone, every girl looked like, they belonged on the cover of a magazine, and they were tall, skinny. And I, I looked, different. I was only hijabi too. So just looking at everyone, it was I wanted to be invisible at that space. I literally just wanted to be invisible. I just wanted to do whatever I can to disappear from that space, because I just didn't feel like I was pretty enough, or just worthy enough to be in that space, and in front of all those contestants. But it was just going through it, and not my biggest highlight was not falling on stage because prior to um, I, it a week prior to competing on that stage, I was still learning to walk in heels. So just going in there, and then making it to the top 15, and then winning Miss Congeniality. I was like, Sandra Bullock, who? I mean. But Foreign House really is about
Well, I want to say one thing
Oh, go
about
ahead.
you. You gave me the honor, and the people in the one and all cohort. You
Mhm.
showed us the video last week of
Yeah.
you being in that pageant, and your beauty just shined through, and your confidence shined through. And I would have never guessed, watching that video,
Mhm.
that that's what you were thinking leading up to it.
Yeah.
And I just think you're amazing. And actually, everyone out who's watching and commenting is saying the same thing right now, by the way. So I interrupted you on Foreign House,
No
but I
worries,
wanted to
no
say
worries.
that was super impressive,
Mhm.
and must have been very affirming
Mhm.
for you to say, okay, now I can do anything.
Yeah. The saying goes, sometimes you have to fake it until you make it. And I was on that stage faking it like I knew exactly what I was doing. But yeah, it was just interesting, after the pageant, I had a lot of people, reaching out to me and just say, how, I was inspiring them and stuff like that. And it was like, your confidence, I want to be as confident as you. I'm like, ooh, if only you knew what I was thinking, the day before the pageant. But it's just about, knowing that you belong in any space. It's everyone has a seat at the table. You belong in any space that you put yourself into. We oftentimes doubt ourselves and really just become a worst enemy. So we have to give ourselves a chance, before we doubt ourselves, because we are capable of more than we know. So we have to give ourselves a pat in the back whenever we do good, and just know that we are worthy. We belong in any space. We are worthy. We are beautiful in our own ways. We are all unique in our own ways. So.
I, I asked you to do this show about 30 minutes ago, and you jumped right on it. And I love everything about you. I love the way you think. I love what you're doing. I love your passion. Uh, what what's the vision here? What's the big dream with the Foreign House? Because I didn't know there was a bigger dream of being the
Mhm.
president of the Sudan until just
Mhm.
now.
Yeah.
What's the dream? What's the Foreign House going to look like?
So eventually, I do want Foreign House to be, like a large company, like like Disney, But really, with Foreign House, I want to be able to, make space for all voices to be heard, and create a pathway for others as well, because it, it's, everyone is, has the right to dream, and everyone, has the right to, to pursue those dreams and make it a reality. But we oftentimes, don't dream because we just don't feel like our dreams are, worthy, or dreams are valuable enough. with Foreign House, I wanted to make what is it called? Not only promote diversity and inclusion and unite different people together, but also say that we are different, we are unique in our own ways. But guess what? That's what's special about us. We don't have to be this exact same to appreciate or appreciate each other. So with Foreign House, it's really just about celebrating diversity, celebrate and uniting different people and creating pathways. So in the future, I do want it to be like a large corporation with different companies intact, different elements that make up the whole company. A lot of times people say, well, what is your what is your like your exit plan? That's that people always want to know what's your exit plan, and I tell them, who said I'm looking for an exit plan? I mean, I don't need an exit plan. But I know that coming from Sudan, there is a huge lack of the film industry because it's a Muslim country, and because of like the culture and everything like that, there's just a lack of opportunity for people who are planning on wanting to break into those like entertainment industries and stuff like that. So what I want to do is make Foreign House global, and then also have like production companies from like Sudan and different countries as well to really provide opportunities for people and really just um, showcase the diversity and tell different stories, and just
Yeah.
inclusivity.
What would you mind sharing your tagline with us? I
Yeah,
love
so
it.
Foreign House, our tagline is changing the narrative from me to us. In a world, full of humans, we are lacking humanity. We fail to accept others for who they are and create these boxes and labels and judge them when they do not fit into those labels. Um, and it's just tiring. So with Foreign House, it's just that it's saying that in order to make a change, we have to be the change that we want to see because we are an agent of change. So change doesn't just begins when someone else starts to change, but change really begins with us. So we have to be the change that we want to see. And with Foreign House, we are being the change that we want to see. We want more inclusivity, we want more diversity. So what? We're going to make it happen. We're not going to wait for others to say, what, like big corporations say, well, we want more diversity, so we'll hire more people, to make the environment more diversity. No, you know what? You can, do whatever you need to do, but we are also going to do whatever we need to do in order to make room for everyone to be heard.
Yeah. You have a much more authentic purpose and mission and method of doing that. You can't just zap and say we're diverse. That doesn't change the fabric of the culture of a company or a corporation or a community for that matter. How we're going to actually address some of the things on the screen in a little bit, and I appreciate the comments and the questions. But first of all, where are you at with Foreign House? 8 million followers on TikTok with the collective is a pretty impressive thing to do. I can't get above 640 yet. How'd you do all that? How'd you make that happen?
It's interesting, when I first started working on Foreign House, I almost wanted to give up because I didn't think anyone would listen to me or anyone would take like would be as passionate about Foreign House as I am. So I started working on it during my sophomore year, when we were in the pandemic and we were just doing everything online. But I had to, do a lot of reaching out, but it was just so amazing to get my first yes. My first yes came from Brian, who is from the Philippines, and he just does a lot of makeup. I'll send you his his information. He has like now over 400,000 on Instagram alone. But it's that first yes just really just motivated me to keep on going. Like, okay, you know what? And it's just so interesting because many of the artists and influencers that we have came in without any paycheck, just because they believed in the mission and vision, and they really wanted to be a part of something that really was here to make a change. And any of these could have been a part of a different content house, like the Hype House or like these other houses, like the limited edition, but they just chose to be a part of Foreign House. And it was just it's just amazing, and the parents who were just so proud of their kids because they were part of Foreign House, and they wanted to even start like their own Facebook page called Foreign House Moms. And it's just so amazing just to be able to be at a point where I have so many people who believe in the mission and the vision, and it's just so amazing, and it just inspires me each and every single day to be able to continue on this and work on it.
Yeah. I'm going to stop there for a second and just put this comment up on the screen. Our good friend Daryl, he's does a lot of work with the unhoused in the St. Louis area. Very, very good person there, saying she will be the president of Sudan. And, if all 8 million people could vote, 8 million votes could win that, couldn't it?
Yeah.
So thank you for that comment, Daryl. As you're, I'm sorry, I'm losing track a little bit of what I was going to say. Here's what my thought is. My thought is we see a lot of people in Lansing that are on the news all the time, whether it's the mayor or it's city council or it's some, big corporation person. My thought is that our big, famous, powerful people are hidden right now. And you want to give them a voice. How can we start to help you? What's that look like? Like if I wanted to do something for you today, or Daryl or Chris or the champ Joe Walker who is out there commenting, how can we help you? How can we support you?
Well, right now we are trying to acquire a building, the old Maple Grove Elementary School, because it's been abandoned for quite a while now. So if we are able to get that building, it's going to take a lot of money to be able to renovate that building and make it into our own studio. So we are trying to start a GoFundMe site to be able to do that. And not only that, but just sharing our story and just believing in us. The more people know about us, the more we're able to get support. So sharing our story, sharing Foreign House, and then just supporting us by donating whatever you can.
So are you going to make it to your dream?
Oh, that's not a doubt. That is not a doubt for sure.
I already knew the answer to that when I asked it.
I love the quote that you have, outside, that says, act like success is inevitable. I mean, success is inevitable as long as I'm working, on my dreams and missions. I know I will make it. Nobody's gonna stop me. I have a dream, and my dream has to come out. So I'm gonna work at it until I do make it possible.
Should we give a small shout out to LEAP and the One and All program?
Yes, definitely.
Tell us about that.
So, it's the LEAP and the One and All is an incredible organization which I didn't know existed until recently. But it's a program that helps entrepreneurs here in the Lansing area to be able to expand their businesses, or if they're working on their startup business, to be able to provide them with the resources necessary to be able to start their business. And this is incredible because Lansing, one of the big things I always hear on the Lansing news, if it's not about the city officials, is the gun violence, about just all the negativity that's going on. So it's really empowering to be able to see all these different people who are doing all these different things in order to put Lansing on the horizon and provide new opportunities for Lansing residents. And the fact that LEAP and One and All is taking a step and giving the people an ability to actually do that is amazing.
Yeah, and when I saw your name on the list in the cohort, I was so happy. I was so very happy.
Yeah, originally when I applied for it, I didn't know what it was. I just applied for it because, I thought it was like one of those grants. And I'm like, I just need a scholarship at this point, So that's why I applied for it. And then coming in and then really figuring out what the program is, I'm like, this is exactly, what we need right now.
Daryl had mentioned about the James Madison part of MSU and you being part of that,
Mm-hmm.
but you're also part of the Burgess Institute. And I think we should give a shout out to some people over there as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, definitely. I'm giving a shout out to Paul. He's incredible. And then Lori Fisher. They've been nothing but supportive to me. And then also Sheila. Sheila is mentor that was given to me by the Burgess Institute. And she's been meeting with me every single Wednesday and just helping me refine my mission, refine my vision. And so it's just incredible to have all these different people supporting me in order to make my dream come alive.
Do you think that we as a community have done a good job in welcoming you here and including and accepting and getting you involved? Is Lansing a good place?
I think Lansing is an incredible place, despite, I feel like there was just, that lack of opportunities, but overall, Lansing is definitely a great place. I went to Everett High School and the diversity at Everett was just incredible. I mean, there was, students, ranging, from 80 different countries. So it's just, Lansing is as diverse as they come. So,
Yeah. And even today, I can't, I won't say his name, but you met a gentleman that's a newcomer from Afghanistan,
Mhm.
and he's got an amazing story too. I hope he comes on the show and tells it as well.
Mhm.
But you two immediately had a connection, and I loved seeing that today because you can be an example for him.
Mhm.
And he's been in war for 15 years. He's survived quite a bit.
Mhm.
Y'all are amazing. And we're so lucky to have people from all over the world that have experienced what you're experienced, which I'm very sorry that's happened, but we're lucky to get you here.
Thank you.
Is there a path back to the Sudan? That's, how does one, our friend Chris Pruitt, how does a Sudanese refugee that is not happy here in the U.S. get to go home? And what he's asking, it's for somebody else. I know who he's talking about.
Mhm.
Is there a path to go home? Is it the right time for someone to go home?
Right now is definitely not the right time to go home because of all of the the political unrest. There's been there's just a lot of protests and everything that's going on. My mother just came from Sudan. She actually went to do like our 6 month um, humanitarian aid for Nedra Foundation, um, but she ended up coming back early because she was in an accident. She was hit by a motorcycle when she was crossing the street, so she ended up breaking her right arm. So she had to come here to get the surgery. But it's just when she went to Sudan, the first day that she went to Sudan, she actually had to stay in a hotel before she can go to her family's house because the roads were all closed due to the protests. So right now, there's just too much going on in order for you to go there and be safe, and especially if you are like a foreigner. Now you're a foreigner, because now you're here in the U.S. and if you go there with all the political unrest, you are going to be a target. So I wouldn't recommend anyone going until everything's situated.
Yeah. Your mother's very brave. What, so everyone's loving what you're saying and loving your story right now. What would you like to take us out with? What's something we can do to help? What's something that we should be doing different as a community to be better and do better?
It's just if you want to see change, you have to hold yourself accountable and really just be the change that you want to see. You can't expect others to make a change that you want to see until you start making that change. So let us all be an agent of change. Let us all be more accepting of others, and really just be better humans. That's all I could say.
All right. And I'm going to put Daryl up again one more quick way because I think he's summarized what my thoughts have been. She has already done more in her short life and endured more greater hardships than me. She has proven to be unstoppable. This project is not as hard as what she had to do to get here. So you're already trained, you're already there.
Thank
This
you.
is already happening. It's just happening in a future that we're not at yet.
Yeah, thank you.
So
Yeah, for me, I now that I came here, I have been a dreamer. I mean, I'm not letting anything stop me, And for me, I like to create a big picture, and then and then kind of humble myself and say, what can I do to get to that big picture? I remember when I went to high school, my biggest picture was to be valedictorian. I mean, that was my absolute goal, in high school. And then once I knew what goal I had in mind. I was okay. You know what? Now, what can I do to in order to get to that? Study hard. Making sure I'm getting good grades. I mean, and 4 years later, I did end up becoming the valedictorian. So it's just I'm not letting anything. I've gone through so much. And for me, it's just what really inspires me is the people, the people who are so struggling in Sudan, and then also just the inequality here in America that we see. So it's just I found my purpose and everything, and I want to do my part in order to make the world a better place. Of course, I can't change the world by myself. It's gonna take all of us, but I am making my mark into that, and I hope that everyone else takes a step and really just leave their footprint by doing what they can in order to make the world what we want to see, be.
it was an honor to have you on the show. Thank you so very much. I don't need to say anything more than what you just said.
Thank you.
Love you all. We'll see you tomorrow on Every Damn Day. Great show.
Thank you.
Great show.